This is for the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Josh Saunders.
And this is For The Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation podcast. Over 40 years of playing PlayStation and 10 plus years in that games media combined. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and 8 a.m. on iTunes, Spotify and other podcast services. If you'd like to be a part of future conversations, please join us on Facebook, Discord, comment below. Or if you're feeling generous, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/popculturists. Head over there, check out the tiers. Might be something there that interests you.
If you do join us on Patreon, you can watch us record this show live. So if you support us at any dollar value, we'll whip you a nice little link where you can come and join the party and have some chats.
That's a lie.
Well, most times, not today. It's been a long day. Time schedules. I just watched 4 hours of wrestling. Pardon me. Without knowing when the wrestling ended, I didn't want to plan and schedule a specific time. AEW fucking brand, by the way. It's absolute brand. If you want to support us in a more once-off fashion, head over to popculturists.com/shopping. Buy shirts like this.
Where is it?
I don't know. Oh, it's in there. Another assorted shit with our logos on it. This one is the wrestling. Brad likes this one. And we are at Twitch at twitch.tv/thepopculturists, where I think this week we'll be streaming some more VR, potentially Trover Saves the Universe, or Five Nights at Freddy's VR. Both codes, thank you, kindly provided to us by PlayStation Australia.
I think it's technically FNAF.
FNAF?
FNAF.
That's the sound I'm going to make when I shit myself. I've never played the game before at all. FNAF. I've never played FNAF before, ever. Not even like it's any of its 18 variations. Is it any good?
I don't know.
But not the VR version. I mean, like the game in general, because your kid plays it, right?
I used to back when it was, Markiplier was streaming it and Jacksepticeye was streaming it and all that. It's just jump scares.
I hate jump scares.
That's pretty much it. That's what it is.
I hate them.
It mainstreamed jump scares. I don't know. It's fun.
Will I put myself?
Probably.
Yeah.
They're jump scares, but they're good jump scares.
Because my understanding is it's like you're working at like a Chuck E. Cheese-esque shop, and then it's got a bunch of screens.
Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria.
Yeah, thank you. And then you're looking at security cameras, and you're trying to prevent something from getting to you, or
the animatronics come alive at night, and try to get to you, and you can flick. But if you're looking at them on the screen, they don't move.
Yeah,
but you've got limited power to flick between the screens.
Okay.
So you have to survive until 6 a.m. without running out of power. I think it starts at midnight. Okay. I think.
6 hours, all right, manageable.
But the more you switch cameras and stuff, the quicker your power goes down. So it's all, you got to remember who's in what room and what's closer and what's priority. You can quickly close doors, but that takes power and it's like a resource management kind of game in a way. But with spooks. Yeah. And the jump scares tended to be like earned, I felt anyway. Well, because for the first 3 games, they don't move when you're looking at them. But then there's one I think the 4th game, when one of them hits a certain corridor and you flick the camera there, it's sprinting down the hallway towards you. And that scared the fuck out of people because they've been conditioned. If I'm looking at it, it doesn't move. And then to see one sprinting in that last corridor before you, it's like really panic-inducing.
Wow. Well, that's the thing, because it's...
I don't know if that happens in the VR.
No, we don't know yet. We'll be playing it this Wednesday. If you're curious, come check it out. Twitch.tv/popculturists, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Time. Because I think how it works by the sounds of it, it's this impending doom.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's this constant tension that sort of sinks you in.
Yeah. You can look at the clock like it's 4 a.m., but I've only got like 20% power left. I'm not managing stuff well enough, so the jump scare is coming. Yeah, but you don't know exactly when.
And I'm sure there's from the pictures that I've seen of the bears and the ducks, and they look pretty fucking horrifying.
Yeah, no, it's a cool concept. I think it just outstayed its welcome in the mainstream stuff, but I'm sure it's good in VR.
Well, because one thing we did talk about, if we ever, because when we read this out on the drop one week, and you said, "Oh yeah, I'll come stream that if we end up getting it." You down?
Maybe it's school holidays now.
Ooh,
so maybe.
Well, let me know. Let me know.
But also,
I remember that literally as we were talking about.
Our other worker has gone to Bali, so I'll be working.
Long days. Muchos aircon.
Muchos more.
Muchos air conditioning.
Yeah.
Hey Ben, man.
Good.
Yeah. I'm still sick.
Good,
It sucks balls.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. I got a chest infection at some point. I think someone coughed in my vicinity because I just got,
Must have been that time when my kid coughed in my mouth right after picking him up from daycare.
Yeah, that could have happened. And like the worst thing is, like I went so long without having a cough because I finally worked out what my old cough was, and then I got sick and I lost my voice again. Yeah, it was my nose, and then now I'm coughing again, and I hate it. Like I've coughed so hard before, like I've janked a muscle in my shoulder. So if I cough too hard, it's like there's someone stabbing me in the back of the head.
Just don't cough then.
It's very hard.
Oh.
Where's
the willpower?
Yeah. Just outthink the virus.
It's all in your head.
And the problem is, it's that raspy cough that's like deep and that hollows your chest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one where if someone does that cough near you, you're like, they're sick.
Yes.
And there's and you're like, oh, you just have to cough. And then there's that one cough type where you're like, ooh, he's not having a good time.
So during the wrestling, James got inspired, as he does. He proceeded to beat the piss out of myself. Jem, your Young and Restless co-host, and Craig from the Mullet Show. We were all around watching it, and then at one he did a big, not quite like a gore, but like he came at me with an elbow and got me right in the side and just emptied my lung, and then because I can't breathe properly, come out like, I just like this,
and then he kicked you. And then he kicked you in the dick.
And then I died. And then I came back. And then you arrived. And he's like, hey. And I picked him up and then he kicked me in the dick. So it's been a good day.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Been times. But as I said, we watched all the wrestlings because we can't talk about wrestling fucking anywhere in the show. We can only talk about wrestling always. AEW, Brent, y'all should watch it. Fyter Fest. Take the piss out of Fyter Fest. It's exceptional. You get to see a great Attitude Era hardcore match with like chairs and tables, and then a chair wrapped in barbed wire, and then barbed wire just wrapped into like some. It's like someone got this table and then just fucking stapled barbed wire. Then there was thumbtacks.
All the good stuff.
And it's all Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
So it's like all the stuff. This is his first hardcore match since leaving WWE. So you can tell,
considering what he did before WWE, he's probably got about 8 years of pent up hardcore.
Yeah.
To get out of his system.
So you can watch him and like he's in pain, but it's like you're enjoying this.
Yeah. He's like, oh fuck yeah.
Yeah, and like because Joey Janela, the guy he takes on, like he took his shoes off. I'm like, don't you dare put him on. Oh, they tacked him with shoe him with bare feet tacks. I think Jem nearly vomed.
That's cool.
It was good.
I'll watch it when I get
Damn good match.
I'll watch it when I get home.
But we've been playing it.
Destiny 2. Yeah, it's a good game.
Still digging it?
It's still fine. I'm running out of things to do now, which is good.
Oh, that's good.
No, because I wanted to get like all this shit done before Shadowkeep, the next expansion, comes out in September. So I had about 8 months worth of stuff to kind of wrap up. I'm almost there, and I'm happy with that.
Very nice.
Yeah. An Anthem.
Yes, we'll get to that.
Which you were nice enough to drop off for me when I couldn't get a copy.
Thank you, Patreon.
Yeah, thank you, Patreon, for journalism.
Yeah, investigative journalism.
Which we'll talk about in the main topic. The whole thing with that is it as bad as the internet says?
Well, the title of the video probably suggests that.
Yeah. Anthem, is it that bad?
Yeah, it's pretty much what it's
some
gonna
bullshit
be.
Like that.
Is it really that dumb, that garbage? I'm gonna make sure when you read it, you feel like
and
that.
You have like, and I have like,
Yeah.
And it's like, well, which one do I believe? I have to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that later. How about you?
Division 2.
Oh, sorry. I also bought Spec Ops: The Line in the Steam sale for $6.
Yeah. Is that Steam stuff still going?
Yeah, till July 4th.
So I might have a squiz. I'm having a look at it.
Good stuff. Everything on my wish list was on sale.
Yeah, mine too.
Literally every single thing.
I have like 3 games in there though.
Oh, Steam's like because you get an email and it's like, there are 15 items on your wish list on sale. I'm like, no. No. Because I was expecting just
what's in your wish
one
list?
at a time, just as something would pop up on sale, I'll pick it up. Not all of them at once.
What's in your wish list?
Spec Ops, the Warlock of Fire Top Mountain,
Mm-hmm.
Hand of Fate, Firewatch, which is $7.
Firewatch is fantastic.
Yeah, that's popular.
It's totally worth $7.
The Mass Effect trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can remember.
Yeah, I got 3.
And then sometimes you go to your wish list and you're like, why the fuck is that on there? When did I ever give a shit about this game?
I remember too. I got Beat Cop, which is that cool little like 8-bit police game. I've got a game called Software Developer. It's kind of like a tycoon game. You know, where you run like a software company and make cool stuff. And third one, can't remember.
Cool.
But yeah, my list is, so they're like, hey, all 3 of your games. I'm like, okay.
I've been meaning to get on Spec Ops for a long time. Every time I hear it mentioned, I'm like, oh, neat.
Well, because
I want to see what this is about.
Everyone jerks Spec Ops.
Everyone's like, yeah, the gameplay is okay, the gunplay is okay,
but the story is just so fantastic,
and the theme and the choices you have to make like really fuck you up. So I'm
well, because that's the thing. They talk about how it's like this like what's the word I'm looking for? Like this edgy, but in the good way. Like this never told story.
I think it will pretty much epitomise the Wrong Side of Heaven song by Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard that song?
I don't think so, no.
On the wrong side of heaven, but the righteous side of hell. It's about war vets and stuff.
Okay.
It's good. You should watch the video clip. You'll cry. You'll definitely cry.
I love crying.
Yeah. So, I'm keen to play that. What are you doing?
Oh, Paradigm. Paradigm was the other game. It was this weird game that we played at PAX.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, some weird indie game. Because I couldn't remember what it was.
Anything more?
No, that was it.
Okay. Just a weird indie?
Yeah, it was this weird, like it had like I think you may have been there that year. Like it
that
had
was
like
a long time ago.
Yeah, it had like
I haven't been to PAX for like 3 years.
Yeah, it was like had like a sloth dressed as Donald Trump.
Doesn't ring a bell.
No, it was weird.
No.
Good
Cool.
game. But yes, I'm playing Division 2.
Of course.
For those that are unsurprised. I hit World Tier 5. So that's 2 World Tiers since we last spoke. Thank you very much.
Now you're in the real end.
I'm pretty sure that I thought I'd mushed the Black Tusk, and they're like, "Oh, Black Tusk is back!" Like, fuck, man. Like, I thought like, what the fuck? Why are they still around? But yes, I'm at that point now where I'm almost at 500 on gear score. So I think it's the max at the moment.
It is in terms of item level.
But then you have to go in there and dick about with the specializations and stuff.
Yeah, but like you can have all 500 gear and that's fine. But if you're not building around a certain spec with certain perks and perk hunting to get certain things with certain to optimize, the 500 means nothing.
Yeah, so I think that's where I might check out because that's where it's not fun anymore.
Okay.
Only because I've never focused on that sort of grind before. I'm sure if I work, because I did that in DCU. Right now that I think about it, I was like, I want a specific gear set in order to achieve this.
Yeah.
So like, I remember grinding like that in DCU.
That's where that's where you repeat the content. You get the chest piece you need, but the right perk isn't on it. It's like, fuck. Can you do the infusion thing? Do you have it on an old piece of gear that you can bring? You gotta optimize.
Yeah.
That's the shtick.
So right now I'm just working through each of the specializations because there's a trophy for that. So kill someone with each of the specializations, and then I think I might go for the plat. So I'm about 52% trophies right now. There's a couple of squad based ones. It's like get a photo with 4 people. Oh, you're
gonna have to do the hunter masks then.
Yeah,
they're fun.
And then there's like Dark Zone ones. I've barely touched the Dark Zone.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not like it was in D1.
Oh, no, it's just like these are things I've just got to sort of check off to get the plat. But it seems pretty straightforward. Like I'm slowly chipping through each of the main missions at 100, at hard to get that trophy as well. As I said last week, and I've said the week before, and all single player up until this point. I think I'm going to need help with that raid. Because apparently that raid is built around needing like 6 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's fucked, man. Have you looked at anything? No. No. It took, I don't think a PC team beat it for about a week, I think, which in terms of online, like this kind of stuff, that's unheard of. It's normally the first 24 hours the group will knock it down. I think it took the first PC group about a week.
Wow.
And console like a month and a half. Damn. Because it, obviously, it's exactly the same raid. But obviously PC users have a lot of benefits with, mouse and keyboard.
Accuracy.
So it took console like an extra month for a team to knock it down. And if you're going to do that, you need a proper optimized gear to do proper damage.
All right.
Yeah.
I might need to help me.
Is the raid a trophy?
No.
Oh, you just want to do it?
Yeah. It's the next thing.
Okay.
Well, because I'm not quite. I don't think I'm quite ready to rock it because the season pass. None of the new things have dropped yet. So it's pretty much down to like, well, I've exhausted all my new stuff I can do.
Okay.
And the raid is the next new thing I haven't done.
Maybe you'll enjoy the Dark Zone.
Maybe I will.
I think it's fun.
So I think that's probably chipping away at that. But I've also been playing Vacation Simulator. So I reached out to PlayStation Australia originally, and I was like, hey, I'm on the hunt for Vacation Simulator. Can you help a brother out? And they're like, no. Talk to the direct. So I'm like, okay. So I emailed Alchemy Labs. Emailed them just saying, hey, help brother out.
No.
Yep.
Oh.
So thank you to Al. So this is the first time that we've ever reached out directly to the developer, and they were like, no worries, man, here you go. I was like, oh my God.
That's cool. That's cool.
Now, of course, that always comes into it. You take that into account when we do review a game, of course, or give our first impressions. But I thought that, in full disclosure, it did come directly from them. So Vacation Simulator is a sequel to whatever year it came out, Job Simulator. So it is a completely VR game. So there are some drastic changes here. So Job Simulator, the basic premise for that was you're in a 2x2, not even like square, maybe even a meter and a half square, right? And you can fuck with literally everything within that 1.5 meter square. Like the limit, pretty huge. It's like whatever you want to do, grab it. You can make fun with it. Very cool idea. In terms of that system, it's one of the most elaborate VR games that I find personally. Because they just pack that small space. Because they're not spread out over like big spaces and trying to do big campaigns. Like it really worked in that small space. First game I ever got a platinum on, by the way. And it was kind of by accident because the game was very quick. So what they've done here is they've taken that idea of Job Simulator, and now that you've done your job, now you go on vacation.
So it's continuing.
Yeah. So it's continuing the story. So this... saying that, though, as I mentioned, that they've done that whole square thing, they've now expanded it into more of that open world. So it's kind of smaller 1.5 meter square events over a larger map.
Right.
So there are three different locations that you can mess about in. First one being the beach, a key vacation spot.
For nerds.
For dorks, because sand sucks. And
for skinny people.
Yeah. The second is camping. So in a nice mountain. Camping, I'm okay with. I like camping. And the third one is a mountain, so on the snow.
Or maybe.
Never been in the snow.
It's not as fluffy as you'd expect.
I'm sure it's really hard and uncomfortable.
It is. It's not nice.
And just wet. It's wet all the time.
It's worse than sand.
Oof. Oh, I hate sand.
It's like wet sand.
Oh.
In your pants.
Oh. Fuck the snow. Yeah, so...
What? And if you got a Wii, you can visually see the shrinkage.
Oh, I don't have that much room to shrink at the best times. Yeah, so what they've done is in each of those locations, there's a small series of essentially mini games. And there's different layers within those mini games, like a beginner, intermediate, expert, whatnot, right? So the game wants you to collect memories, because what makes vacations? It's the memories that you have.
What makes a good king? Someone with a good story.
Still good stories, apparently.
Fuck off. That makes sense though with memories.
Yes. So, pardon me, because they're robots and they're all analytical, and it's like that's how we record how good a holiday is, by how many memories you make. So we need to go and collect all these memories. There's X amount of memories in each place, and that's how we prove how much of a good time you're having. brilliant. Like there's a lot of these good, like stupid, because because these are robots and humans have died out at this point. They're all unsure of regular human-y aspects.
I'd love for this series to get darker. Like as you said, all the humans have died at this point. Like let's expand on that a little bit.
Well, apparently there's a way to shut down the simulation in the end. There's a trophy that's like shut down the vacation simulator. So I think that at the end you see what is behind the wall, behind the curtain,
breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, so I haven't done that yet. So I put about 5 hours into it at this point. So I did 2 hours on stream on Wednesday, and then I was like, and it's like I go, oh, it's 1 a.m. I have work in fucking 5 hours. I'm out for work in 5 hours.
It's fun.
Oh, it's awesome. Like it's real good. So, like there are some good things. I said they've drastically changed the scope by making it bigger and better. There's a lot more different styles of mini games, which is fun. However, because they've expanded those mini games, none of them feel as in depth as the original. Like where it's like you feel like you could do like so much in that small space, because they've taken that, like it feels like a mildly shallower experience when you process it from a game as an overall thing, but it's as you sort of zoom in, you're like, okay, no, there's like 15 things I can do here compared to the one. So previously it was like you work in a kitchen, you work in a mechanic, you work in a Quickie Mart or like a service convenience store. There's a fourth one there I can't remember.
The office.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is what you can do. Like there's your 4 options. That's all you've got. You're done. So, and what they've really done here, they've found a great way to connect the 3. I'm gonna call them hubs, I guess, like being like the beach and that. So some of the tasks involve you doing minor fetch quests, as in like build this, take it to this spot in this world. And then it's like, in order to build this item, you need to go here. You need to go to the mountain and grab this twig, and then go to the beach to grab this shell, and come back here with snow, and we'll make something. Humor's on point. It's great all around. The movement system is very much that teleport to key locations, so that's great for me. There's no risk of motion sickness here, which is nice. I like it. It's charming as shit because it's the same sort of, CRT monitor robo dudes, and they're funny. I really enjoyed my time with it, and I will continue to enjoy my time with it because I will endeavor to push that plat. This plat will take longer than Job Simulator did.
You don't just have to finish the game to get the plat.
No, it's like there are some kind of like do this and this, and it's like this plus this and this. So there are some things that are a little bit external to it, which is cool. Because Job Simulator had that Job Simulator was complete the 4 worlds, plus there's a couple of things you have to do extra, like do it in no gravity mode, do it in this. So there seems to be a bit more additional layering in that sense. Trying to think what else I can say about it. It's kind of fun. The controls are about as intuitive as they were before. No real major changes in there. Some minor changes though, because one thing that used to happen was if you drop something on the floor, it would just disappear and come back to where it was originally found. So that way, if you were trying to clear some space, it would just go bleh and reappear back to where it was. Yeah. So now what they've done is they've changed it so you can drop it on the floor and it will stay on the floor. But because of the camera, you can't go to the floor. So you hover your hand, and then the item floats up, and then you can choose to pick it up.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. So you go, I need that. Not that one. Then you can grab it. That is awesome. Like that completely big game changer in terms of just how it works. Because one of the first missions is like go and choose what your character looks like, which you never got to do before. So you go into the bathroom and you see your character, and there's a bench covered in like soaps and toothpaste. And it's like, what? Which is fun. And then it's like, well, oh crap, I have to pick it all up. yeah, because normally I just go, yeah,
cool.
But yeah, no, I think it's great. I'll endeavor to finish it more, but I would certainly put it in the similar bracket to like games that you must play if you have VR. Mostly because it's a simple experience. It's a wide experience. You get to see multiple uses of VR. as in like rather than just an experience. It's moving around, it's doing cool things. It feels incredibly intuitive. Like Job Simulator has for a long time has been one of the staple games I use to show people VR. Because there's the idea of that dense space doing stuff. So there's a good expansion in that way. I would be very fascinated to see what they do after this, or how this ends by look at the trophy list. It's like, where will this go? Will it have that fourth wall breaking and like
the fall of the human simulator?
Yeah. Because like what happens after you work and go on vacation?
You go back to work.
Death simulator.
Oh. Die when you come back from vacation.
Retirement simulator.
You're in the nursing home.
Yeah. Just in a wheelchair.
Like pulling people's walkers out.
Yeah. Having dementia.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good game. But no, it's a great game. So big thank you once again for providing the code for us. As I will likely stream it again. Because maybe as I'm getting the last sort of sets to get that, we'll get that plat on camera. But yeah, no, I think it was absolutely
maybe
fantastic.
Five Nights at Freddy's will be too much for you on Wednesday.
Yeah, so if 5 Nights at Freddy makes me poop too hard, I'm like, I need to calm down, and then I'll go on vacation.
Fair.
Yeah.
Cool.
There you go.
Cool.
But that is all that we've been playing this week. So now let's get into the section we call Inform the Players, where we tell you about what happens this week in PlayStation.
Not a lot. Not a lot this
It's
week.
pretty quiet.
It's been a pretty quiet week. So I've got like real deep dive stuff here.
Sweet, man.
Like tariffs and shit.
Oh, politics.
Number one, according to an insightful Wall Street Journal report, Sony is looking to make deals with major publishers in order to put the PS5 in the best possible position when it launches next year. I guess that's also confirmation it is launching next year.
Cool.
The publication claims the platform holder is focusing on major big budget titles and is lining up both timed exclusivity and exclusive content to differentiate itself. This will likely end up an extension of the PS4 strategy. We're partnered closely with major releases like Destiny and Watch Dogs to give it the upper hand. If anything, its bargaining power is likely to have strengthened since the launch of current gen console, so don't be surprised if it spotlights some whopping third-party titles when the PS5 is finally revealed to the world. All this, according to Wall Street Journal, is coming at the expense of smaller indie studios. Many indie devs and smaller publishers feel like outsiders. But speaking anonymously with author Takashi Mochizuki, one executive explained, in a very arrogant way, I would say, that it's not a problem because the platform is simply too large to ignore. Which is true. Mm-hmm. But just hearing it spoken, I'm like, fuck off your high horse. Well, but it's also true.
Yeah,
who's going to release a game on platforms and go, oh, are we going to do it for PS5? Of course you're going to do it for PS5 if you can.
Yeah. Because I think that, the wording there is horrible, but it could be lost in translation.
True.
It could also just be like, we'll take you.
Yeah.
Like, as in, like, we are so large that people will want to come and we're happy to have them.
Yeah.
Or it could be like, we are so large that you have to be, motherfucker.
Where are you at with exclusive content and timed exclusivity? Because before you go on, we've shat on Microsoft's Tomb Raider deal very, very hardly.
Yeah.
Very, very heavily.
But yeah, that's a timed exclusive game. But PlayStation haven't really done that, if I can recall.
They're lining it up, apparently.
Oh, well, yeah, I'll have an issue.
And it's lining up both timed exclusivity and exclusive content.
Okay, that's a little different. All right. So, okay. Content I'm shitty with and okay with, because when I played PS3 and when I played Call of Duty, having to wait like 2 months for fucking map packs was balls.
Having said that, we primarily play on PlayStation.
Yeah, so it's going to be win for us.
It doesn't matter for us, but I've been dabbling a fair bit on my Xbox as well, and it's like, well, that's a bit shit. It
is a bit shit. Like, unquestionably, it is a bit shit. But in the console market, this has become the common practice.
Yeah, I know.
And it's and it is dirty, and as I said, it is that capitalism that we were talking about last week.
Free market at work.
It is, because like they don't have to take up those deals.
No.
Like, PlayStation could come to you and say, we'll give you money for timed exclusive. You always can say no.
I suppose that mimics the whole Epic Store thing as well. But the Epic Store is offering a better service to developers.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense. Maybe not for the consumer, I know, but for the developers, if they're taking that deal, there's obviously a reason for it.
Has to be a reason.
PlayStation's reason is just we have more consoles out in the world.
Yeah.
And it's
So
that
do you want
simple.
do you want to guarantee, like, people
Do you
like
want do you want to have a guaranteed 100 million install base?
Yeah, like people like our exclusives. So if we say you're exclusive, people will automatically be drawn to you.
Yeah,
Do you
it
want to
makes
make this
sense.
deal?
I think because it seems like, I could be wrong, but the way I see it is that, Microsoft and Nintendo are trying to move away from that and having a more open shared market, whereas Sony is still very much, it's mine. Which they can do. They absolutely can do.
I think that comes from when you aren't the market leader.
Of course it does.
As
100%.
we say, like, we've speculated in the past, like, Microsoft used to be the same, when they talk about PS3 arrogance, right, at the start of the cycle. Xbox 360 became that in the end. You know what I mean? Like, as Xbox were winning, there was that hubris there. Like, look at Xbox One. And when they dropped the Xbox One and there were all those big announcements, and, like, these decisions, these very consumer-focused decisions, are simply, I know it's very cynical, but it is simply to get more people in. Like, that's why, like, they're not doing that out of the kindness of their hearts. Like, they aren't making these relationships because it seems like the right thing to do. It's like,
but that's how the industry moves forward. Someone is losing, and they have to change the game up in order to get back ahead again. There are reasons for it. They want to make more fucking money.
yeah.
That's it. It's not because we love our fans. It's they want more money. And I would love to see a timeline where things were swapped around this gen. PlayStation trailing, Xbox fucking killing it, just to see just what the landscape would be.
Yeah.
Because you can't, like, I can't see Sony doing what Microsoft are doing as losers.
I kind of
But
agree.
that's because I only know Sony now.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if Sony were in that position this gen, I don't know what they'd do, but I would love to somehow know. You know what I mean?
No, I completely agree, because, like, that is a good thought experiment. Like, would it go the same?
Yeah.
But there's
no way. No,
yeah, because I truly don't think things like Games Pass and all that sort of stuff would have existed if it wasn't for them being second.
But I'm glad they do.
But yeah, this is one of those things. Like, this is the situation where competition breeds excellence, because they have to, and like, being second totally works. And, like, as we said last week, look at the likes of Apple, industry leader, $1,000 monitor stand, because who the fuck's gonna argue against them?
But didn't Apple's slogan used to be, was it does more, cost less?
Yeah, it does more, cost less.
didn't
But
age
now,
well.
because once again, they are too big to fall. Like, you'll buy our shit, whether whatever we put on it, because
but,
we're the big
I
ones.
get what you're saying.
Yeah,
look,
this is a general, like,
yeah.
we won't, but
do you think it's a bit presumptuous on PlayStation's part
what?
that they're going to be winning the next gen?
Oh, I don't think they'll claim the winning the next gen.
Well, it's yeah, but no. What I mean presumptuous, as in, maybe presumptuous isn't the right word, but it's like, let's secure this now because we don't know how things are going to go.
Yeah, that's business.
Yeah.
Smart business.
Yeah.
Great business.
Yeah.
They're like, well, how can, like, although we may not win the next one, how can we secure at least a strong start?
But who's to say behind the scenes Microsoft aren't doing the same thing?
I guarantee
They're clearly
they are.
now putting more money into their gaming business than I think they ever have before.
Yeah.
So who's to say they're not doing the same thing? They just haven't disclosed.
Simply by them buying up whatever studios they can is that same demonstration. So although they're not having timed exclusives anymore, they are just having straight up exclusives. Like, that's their plan. Their plan is, because, as of right now, there is...
The studio has potential. They're small, but we can see them being more. Let's bring them into the fold.
And they're open to us buying
Yeah,
them.
let's bring them into the fold. That's smart. There's a lot of good business decisions going on. As far as consumerism goes, though, sometimes it can be a bit shit.
Yeah.
Basically.
As I said, I'm in that weird place where I don't think this big free open market that everyone kind of jerks around for I think it's a little bit too lefty. I like.
You don't have to put aside.
No, but I mean, I can't think of the right word. It's the only word I can think of. Like,
What do you think is the current trending topic?
yeah, no, I think the industry, although it's good for the consumer, I just don't know whether it's super beneficial for the industry overall, because it's that situation. It's like by creating this ultimately open platform, it actually makes shit harder. I mean that in like, if they're only working on first party exclusives, like there's no real reason to own separate boxes.
Good. I don't want to own separate boxes.
Yeah, but from a business though, it's like...
I get that. But if the market is pushing it that way, they have no choice.
That's true.
They can stop their feet all they want.
Saying that though, they are also the market.
Yeah, they can literally do whatever the fuck they want.
Both companies could... Like, people have been arguing this for years. And only now it's happening. It's only because they went, yeah, all right. You know what I mean? So like there was a period of time like, why do I have to own two boxes?
But now that it has happened to a small extent, I don't think you can pull it back.
No, you can't pull it back now. No,
you have to either keep it as it is or go forward.
Yeah.
You've already started this process, which obviously gets a lot of consumer good faith, and to pull it back, I think, is a bad business move.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Like you can't go back now. Like the train is gone. The train has started.
The train has left the station.
The train has left.
Yeah.
And like I feel like I'm that conservative prick that's just like, oh, change is bad. And I agree, because it's ultimately not going to affect how I play games, because I play games always the same way.
I think a lot of that opinion probably comes from perusing the internet, though, and just getting sick of it.
Yeah, probably.
All the comment threads and all that stuff, you know, and just going, fuck, shut up. Whereas if you weren't exposed to that, maybe
I'm sure some of my opinions are tarnished by the internet.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like I just this
it's like
big
anything
open
on the PlayStation Australia Facebook page going into the comments, it's just like, oh, shut up. Especially like the top selling games comments, it's just like, oh, this is the internet.
Yeah.
In a comment thread, this is a perfect example.
Why is everyone buying Fallout 76 in his
Anthem's number 2 this week.
Yeah, it is. $19, that's why.
Yeah. Doesn't matter why.
Doesn't
matter why. It's number 2 this week.
Yeah, in the comments, everyone's like, but Anthem is the best. Why are you playing it? That's the voice I give to anyone that's dumb. My bad.
Anyway, free market, good, I suppose.
Speaking of markets.
Number 2, earlier last week, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft all petitioned the US government to reconsider their stance on tariffs placed on goods imported from China to the US. I'm going to skip over all the bullshit. The tariff is being proposed by the Trump administration as part of the wider economic standoff between the US and China, which would include a 25% increase on video game consoles, controllers, arcade machines, and even board games. The trio of console manufacturers explained in their letter that, quote, while we appreciate the administration's efforts to protect the US intellectual property, blah, 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 the disproportionate harm caused by these tariffs to US consumers and businesses will undermine, not advance, the goals. So basically, if all this shit happens, we're paying a lot more for everything we love. I don't want that to happen. I don't think there's anything... But what can I do? I'm just one man. You know what I mean? But it is something to be mindful of, because we already pay more than what the exchange rate would dictate we pay for this stuff. If we go by like current dollar conversion, our new releases listed at $99.95 or $109.95 is still too high. So we're already paying more. And if this happens to the US, all that gets passed on to us. And that's bad.
Oh, yeah. That's bad.
Especially with new consoles in the next year.
Yeah, because they're already like $600.
Already going to be $600-$700 for us. And if this happens, they'll be bumped up to nearly $1,000.
Yeah.
And I'm going to buy one anyway. But you get what I'm saying, yeah? And it'll go to games as well. You know, getting a new release at JB for $69 probably won't be a thing anymore. It'll have to be the $89, $99. EB Games, $130 probably.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
No price matching.
So this is bad, but it is good to see the three big labels kind of get together on this and not individually petition, but go in as a group representing the largest entities in the industry, you know, arm in arm.
Yeah.
Like, not really. It's just a letter, probably signed by the three companies. But
see, we're probably gonna get a little bit political here, but like I have an issue with this because I'm pretty confident this decision for these tariffs comes from a completely xenophobic stance.
Of course,
and it's one of those things like we're taking this stance. Like you understand how greatly this is going to destroy the market.
America first.
But America. Like, yes, but
This will destroy America's market.
like this won't. Like, this is not good. This is actually a horrible economic decision.
Yeah.
Like, but China.
Did you know China helps North Korea and they're bad?
Like, that's not true, but oh, come on.
No, seriously, yeah. I'm not deep into all of that stuff. I couldn't say much about it, but I just know I don't like it.
Yeah, once again, I like they're coming together. That's very cool because, like, in terms of gaming, it is one of the largest markets in. We keep saying the word market. It is one of the largest. Well, like,
it is. It's exceeded.
It exceeds film, music. Plays. I guess you guys plays anymore, but like. It's one of the biggest things in the world, and I think it's a voice that needs to be heard. In the first time ever, I think it was this week or last week, Bernie Sanders came out and supported unionization.
Did
for
you
video
see?
games.
Because you know how he was like, there's a picture of him with like a mic and he's got like these sound things behind him. People have like been superimposing him onto Twitch streams. Like he's streaming Dota 2. So funny. But yeah, no, he's the
first person to endorse like video games in a positive light. Or sorry, not endorse, talk about video games. Like most politicians only ever mention when it's bad. And this is something that sort of was brought up to me personally during Sacred Symbols, which is the Colin Moriarty PlayStation podcast,
who is very well engrossed in US politics.
Yeah, so for him it was like, he's the right person to like.
I'd vote Bernie.
Well, yeah, because we
not just for video. We are
that inclined.
Not just for video games, but I'd vote Bernie.
Well, the best thing about Bernie is because a lot of his platforms are shit we already have here, like universal healthcare.
Yeah. But like when it comes to like vote, we can talk voting for a second. Down here, it's like, give me a face that I want. Like, I'm inclined. I want to vote for you because I agree with you. Give me that. And I don't feel like we get it. See,
the problem here is the Australian political structure is we vote for parties. We don't vote for people. But
there's always a face to the party.
They've done that because of the US model. Yeah. The US model is entirely people. So you have to have a face. You have to have a face represent because you're voting for that person when you're voting for parties. Like when you get in that federal election, you don't vote for Tony Abbott. You don't vote for Scott Morrison. Bill Shorten. You vote for Labor, Liberal, Greens. But where in the US you vote literally for a person.
But flipping that around to video games again, we'll talk. We
so
talk
the reason,
about.
So the point I'm making there is like
I'm going to get back to that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
The reason we talk about how good it is to have people like Phil Spencer and Sean Layden, the face of the company. You don't buy an Xbox because of Phil Spencer, but he's who you associate it with. And the Aussie political parties, I feel like, are the same kind of thing. Whereas there's the face there that draws you into that party.
It should be,
to what I think it should be. And we don't get it. Whereas in the US, I'm like, Bernie's cool. Because I understand him and what he wants to do, not all this shady party shit going on in the background.
Well, that's the problem with the party structure is that it's very difficult for us to align as people to align with the party because although a party may have some views that align with us, like as in let's just say Joe Blow, who's part of the party, he's really down on partying, like fuck yeah. But although within the party, there's some like this guy has awesome rock music parties. So we're like, let's vote for him because he's part of the party.
But half the party wants to rave.
They want to rave. Yeah, but because you can't vote just the rock party people.
Yeah, you got to bring the ravers in as well.
Yeah,
and no one wants to hang around ravers.
No, especially when trying to rock. So like, so you have to vote just for the party.
We should do a political show. Australian politics for dummies,
but simplified and wrong.
Yeah. With no sources.
No, a little bit.
Anyway,
and that's the problem. And like so.
Tariffs bad.
Tariffs bad. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, with Bernie, like Bernie and the union stuff, totally cool. It makes total sense. Bernie's super socialist, so like it makes total sense from now if you want to talk about unions.
Yeah.
But yeah, so having them come together for tariffs, totally rad. Whether it is any change or not, I don't think the current government in the US give a shit about petitions, papers, or anything that isn't what I want to do.
Not much longer left for him.
He's got a second term.
You reckon?
I guarantee he's going to second term.
I think they're due for an assassination over there. It's been, what, 40 years?
It's been a long time.
JFK, I think?
Yeah, this was what, 1963.
So we're due. So I
50
probably
years.
shouldn't expand on that, actually.
Yeah.
Putting,
60
putting
years,
this on the internet.
Yeah, shit. Yeah,
You're doing next week's show by yourself.
Yeah, I get. Josh has been being collected. I guarantee.
Hey, we talked about assassinations last week. Turns out, in a funny twist of events, Josh got assassinated.
How do you like it? But yeah, he's getting a second term. It horrifies me.
That would make me very sad.
But I guarantee it'll happen.
I don't know, because I think the younger crowd is more into it than ever now.
Yeah, but there is a lot. I suppose
of the oldies outnumber.
See, this is the thing. Like, you know, this is a side discussion again. But in the greater topic of society in general, we are more divided than we ever have been, and because of that division, people are being forced to either end of that spectrum. Like, there's no room in that middle anymore.
Centrism.
The centrism doesn't exist. It does on individual basis, but once you pull back and you look at an overall subsect, the division is there. It's totally there.
The division is always there.
And it's a real good game.
In the shadows.
Yeah.
Waiting for the watchers to
It's not the hero we need right now.
The one we need later.
Yeah, it's not the one we want. It's the one we need. But yeah, so for that reason, I think because everyone's just it's just this split, and that divide is bigger than it's ever been. Yeah, unless the left side, so like the Democratic side, I guess, have a big tentpole person like Trump. I think it will swing it back to him.
Interesting times.
Yes.
And all of that, unfortunately, affects video games, which is why we talked about it to start with.
Yeah.
Let's move on from politics.
Please.
Before I feel like we're going to places we probably shouldn't.
Yeah, because we're not smart enough.
We
are not smart enough. Look, I'm pretty sure everything I just said there, wrong.
But it sounds right.
Yeah,
and that's important.
I did
that's
it with
politics.
confidence. That's fucking fake news right there.
Yeah, no, not fake news. That's ooze. Number 3, Sony has patented a new technology that will help remove loading screens from games that use it. The patent, titled, quote, System and Method for Dynamically Loading Game Software for Smooth Gameplay.
Catch your name.
Otherwise abbreviated to SAMFDL. No, you can't abbreviate it. Describes a technology that loads in data in advance in order to prevent load screens. The patent explains that the system can monitor the player's character and use this information to load in new areas in preparation as the player approaches them.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
Quote, a load boundary associated with the game environment is identified. A position of a character in the game environment is then monitored. Instructions corresponding to another game environment are loaded into a memory when the character crosses the load boundary, such that gameplay is not interrupted, the patent describes.
So it's essentially pre-loading areas around you.
If you hit, there'll be like a checkpoint, an invisible one. When you hit that, the game's like, okay, you're obviously heading over here. I'm going to start loading that up now as you get closer towards this. Or getting it ready in temporary memory.
On a good note, though, by hearing that makes you sort of get an understanding of what technologically powerful the next gen will be, because that'll take a lot of RAM.
Well, did you see the
processing power? When
Horizon came out, there was a thing of like how open world games work.
It loads only in your cone.
And as you turn, it's just that cone shifts as well, and there's nothing behind you in the game world. It's just I found that really kind of eye-opening, because you just assume.
I stretch my neck out.
You're right. You just assume that everything is, you're in the middle of the world, but you're not. You're only showing that cone in front of what you're looking at, and there's literally blackness and empty space behind you, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
like just getting that perspective on it. You know what I mean?
It's how to learn how it's done. Yeah, because most games they load like the room, and then you'll fuck around in the room, and then you.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, the way I interpret this is that there's just an invisible checkpoint you cross heading towards a new area, and the game will start loading that up in like reserve memory. Yeah. And then when you're finally there, it kind of goes, here it is.
Yeah. So the thing that I wonder, so say there is like, you're in like we'll use the basic room hallway idea. So you're in a room, you've got 2 hallway splits. Like, I assume there's an algorithm that tells, depending on where you're walking in what direction. So say that like there's the threshold, like 2 thresholds, and if you like break it there, it loads this up. Like, does it have to pre-memory both of those?
Who knows?
Yeah, so it'd be interesting. So there's like 3. I don't. I'm saying, I wonder how much.
I see what you're saying. If you come to a fork in the road, how does it know which one to load if you're walking straight up the middle?
Yeah. Well, once again, with computers and things, these happen at like milliseconds. So I'm sure it's totally workable. But
Interesting though. I like it. I like where this is going.
It sounds rad.
This is what I want out of my next.
Yeah,
gen
this is where further technology needs to go. Not where is the name of it? Systems and method for dynamically increasing high resolutions to work at 8K. Like, I'm glad we're not getting that. Like, we're getting smarter games rather than prettier games.
And I also like
because it's not about being pretty, it's about being smart, man.
Which I am neither. That's a shame. Yay.
The PopCulturists.
But I like that. I like we're at the point in time where we get to keep talking about next gen regularly now.
Yeah, man.
That is starting to amp up.
Hype's getting real.
That's cool. What's not hyped is PS Plus games
it sucks
for July 2019. You will get Pro Evolution Soccer 2019 and Horizon Chase Turbo.
Oh, what a mislead.
Yeah.
So
Xbox gets Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Fuck. Just saying.
Yeah, Horizon Chase Turbo is some car racing game. Pro Evo Soccer is, I think it may be a soccer game. I don't know.
Might be.
Rim has it.
Who knows?
Never played it. But yeah, shit hole month.
It's actually lacrosse.
Oh, surprise golf.
Yeah, shit. They
absolutely garbage.
We've said it before, but they've got to do something.
Like by taking away games, we expected better quality shit.
Well, because now, for the comparison again, Xbox have combined Xbox Live and Game Pass together for the same cost.
Yeah, so you get
month.
free games plus access to 100 games. 200 games.
More than that now. Yeah.
With PS4,
and all the
you
brand
get
new games like first part, like Gears is going to come out on there, Halo's going to launch on there.
Yeah, you get so like you used to get 6 games, you now get 2 of subpar value.
Yeah.
So this is that thing. So previously you could still have 2 kind of lower tier games like this, but because you had the padding of the other 4, you go, it's not too bad.
There's enough there.
I got fucking 6 games.
Yeah.
I went from no games to 6 games.
I would like them to see with the amount of PlayStation hits they have now, just cycle through them through the month. Because there's 25 PlayStation hits.
Well, because they announced new ones this week.
What's wrong with having The Last of Us on there?
Yeah.
It's $19.95. People will flip if The Last of Us is on PS Plus, but it's only a $20 game. It doesn't matter because it's The Last of Us. God of War 3, Horizon, Persona, they're all...
God of War 3's been on there already.
Yeah, no, but what I mean is they're all just $20 games now. Why not put them on PS Plus?
Agreed.
One at a time. You got enough there now for 2 years. You got over 24 games of one a month. Of course, with something supplementary as well. I'd do a PS hits, another game that you've worked out with a third party, and a VR game.
Yeah, they need to do something. Look, even if they put a VR game in there, it would kind of make the deal better.
It would absolutely make the deal better. But then there's the argument for the people that don't have a VR. Well, what value am I getting from?
Well, this is the situation of like, well, too bad. Like,
I get it. I
VR is one of the
that.
big pillars of what PlayStation. No, this isn't big. It's not to you, but it's just like,
I understand.
It's
I
like,
have one.
Yeah, sure you do. But I mean, like in terms of the like, well, VR is a very important tentpole to us. So we have the PS4, we have the VR. Previously, it was PS4, PS3, and Vita. They were our pillars. Now it's not. Now it's these two. So
but we know how the internet is. Well, what am I getting? Like that doesn't help me.
Yeah.
It'll just be a thing. That's all I was pointing out. Anyway,
the internet's broke.
PS Plus is
We love you, internet.
fucking shit.
Please send that on a show.
Yeah, the internet sucks except for people that listen to us.
Yeah, you're awesome, you 10 people.
Yeah. Top selling games for the week ending 23rd of June 2019. Number 10, NBA 2K19. Number 9, Fallout 76. Number 8, FIFA 19. Number 7, Spider-Man. Number 6, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Because I put an extra S in there. Number 5, GTA 5. Number 4, Mortal Kombat 11. Number 3, Black Ops 4. Number 2, Anthem. Number 1, Crash Team Racing.
You go Crash Team Racing.
And there's one quick bit. EA Access will arrive on PS4 July 24th.
Cool. Not getting it.
I'm not getting it, but someone might want to for Anthem and stuff. That's it for the news, Ryan, as we have a chat to the players about Anthem and if it's as fucking garbage as it's being made out to be.
Yeah, so last week, EB Game, I think EB Game's still on the sale right now. We noticed that EB Games, JB Hi-Fi were all selling Anthem for $19 dues. And as the internet at the large has been just violently shitting on the game,
including us.
We've shut it.
Not violently, but we have shut it.
So we played the beta back in the day and didn't really do a lot for us at the time. And on top of that, it being cheap and the idea they've pulled everything out of the roadmap and all these different things are in place for make us go.
$19 is a fair buy.
Look, for $19, we'll do some minor investigative journalism, and it's as basic as we can get, which is just.
I'm going to play again.
I'm going to give it to Josh. I'm going to buy it for Josh. We'll use the sweet Patreon dollars because that's what it's there for. We'll use that for Josh. Josh will buy take the hit, spend as much time as he can with Anthem.
Not the cost hit, the time.
Yeah, and then I was PR at this point. I'm like, it's a free game.
Yeah.
Now pay me in time. So I gave it to Josh.
And a good review.
And I've probably over the next couple of weeks.
It'll be ongoing, 100%.
Would you see? Is it as shit as they say it is?
Because you can play the first 10 hours, but these kind of games obviously live off the end game, which Destiny 2 has fucking down now. Division 2, I think, is maybe getting there in terms of of varied activities to do while progressing your character.
Correct. I think once we get the season pass, because like my idea is like I want to grab that season pass as well for Division. I might reach out to Ubisoft. Hey Ubi, if you're listening, help brother out. Or if I'll buy it myself, like, this game's great. Yeah. And then so I think that like there you'll get your things that change the world, and because that's the end game is the most important part in these games.
So I want to play it to the end game and give the end game a good solid go. Maybe by the time I get there, stuff will have happened. Maybe. We don't know. So you brought it over to me Friday afternoon / Friday evening, like 6 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
So this is probably my first 8 hours. 8 to 10.
It's a pretty good solid run in like a day and a half. Because right now, for context, it's 4 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yeah. I had nothing to do yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, I took the dog to the vet and stuff. But,
Oh, is he okay?
It's a checkup.
Oh, is he good?
$300 later. Yeah. Immunisations.
Oh, it's like $300. Fuck, get the dog.
That's more than I bought him for. I'll just buy another one for cheaper. Just a general checkup.
I'll just get a cheaper, healthier one.
No, he's Mickey Mouse. He's good.
He's a good boy.
So I'm having so much fun.
Really?
I'm having a lot of fun. If anything, to summarise before I even start, playing it kind of makes me sad in the way that I'm seeing so much potential there.
Okay.
And I know it's not realised. But there is and other people have said this too, there is something there that could just be great. Amazing. The moment-to-moment when you're in the world, the moment-to-moment gameplay is incredible. Flying around, your abilities and your guns, and there's shit happening and there's cool particle effects. It's so satisfying. The combat. The activities you do in between are pretty uninspired. It's pick up these things and put them here, defend this area, and just every mission is the same kind of thing, just with different voiceovers for different reasons. But the combat itself is so good. And incorporating the flying into that. Like, I'll jump off a cliff, fucking nosedive down, the boosters come out, hover above, throw a big ice bomb over there, zoom down, do the melee big smash ability, shoot this guy, change shotgun that guy, throw a grenade, jump in the air, fly around the tree for some cover, peek out, and it's cool. It is. You feel like such a badass when you start incorporating all this stuff in, because in the beta, particularly when I played it, I was using my guns. Forget about the guns.
That was my next thing. My next statement was, I heard that it was a very special based combat. Like as in like guns don't use your
guns
specials.
are supplementary. Yeah. I feel to your abilities because they're all you got your L1 and R1 abilities, which are interchangeable as you find different abilities in the world. That are on like 10, 12 second cooldowns and they combo off each other and stuff. And then you've got your L1 and R1, which is normally like a defensive kind of ability or like a little temporary boost. And then you got your ultimate and then you got your melee ability. So you're really cycling through all your abilities and then gunning in between for a few seconds. Whereas when I played the beta, I was treating it like Destiny, where it's guns first, abilities later. But when you get that kind of flow going in combat, it's very, very fun and satisfying. probably what stands out to me the most is the world. When you're out in the world doing freelancer stuff, doesn't really feel alive, I think is the right word. Whereas what I mean is it feels like everything is placed there because they need something there for you to do. It doesn't feel natural.
Yeah.
Whereas the comparison to Destiny is always going to be there. When you're on a planet, to me, it feels pretty lived in. Like if you're not there, shit is still happening down there. The enemies, the various enemies are still fighting each other. You know, it says, you know, the enemies move against each other. And that means the Cabal and the Hive have started going at it. You know, all that stuff is still happening even if you're not there. Whereas Anthem's world just feels like, you know, here's a zone with a thing, and then you fly a bit more, and here's another thing with a thing you can do. It all feels very artificial. Looks brilliant. Even though there's a pretty severe graphical downgrade from the trailer and all that, I still think it looks really, really nice. Really, really beautiful. But the world itself just doesn't feel alive. Like, it feels like if you're not there, everything's just frozen in spot and nothing is living. Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense.
Yeah. Like in The Division, you go back to the White House, like, you know, out there the hyenas are still fighting not the Black Tusk, the other ones.
What, like the True Sons?
Yeah, the True Sons. You know, all the factions are still going against each other.
Because that can happen.
You can see control points, you know, people, you know, you can see the convoys and on their routes and everything.
And if you happen to wander down a street, you might turn the corner and see, like, like True Sons versus Outcasts.
Against civilians, you know, sometimes you've got a gun to them, and they're talking to them. You feel the world is, no matter what you're doing, the world is still moving along. Like,
and of course, similar to Anthem, like, these are pre-planned moments. Like, it's not as if it's the way games work, but because the amount of power to run the world when you're not there is insane.
But even as simple as looking at your map and seeing, like I said, the control points being taken over, your allies moving to this spot, the enemies are moving just in like a line form. It's like, shit is happening, and I can go interfere with this right now should I choose to. Whereas with Anthem, it just feels like if you're not in the world, then nothing's happening.
Speaking of, like, these little nodes, like, the enemies that are within them, how are the enemies?
Fine.
Is there multiple species,
I think I've fought 3 species. I think I've fought 3. I fought the Dominion, who are like the main enemies, who are like coming to take back over the world or some shit. The Skags, not Skags. That's Borderlands. It starts with S. I'm going to get into why I don't know what they're called. And then like the insects, like scorpions and explodey bugs and stuff. Yeah. That's what I've found so far. But you don't. So far, I don't know who they are. I don't really care. The skanks are being portrayed as like this nuisance species that aren't really humanoid. They're more like a hive mind kind of thing. I don't know who they are, what their motivations are, why they're being dicks to us. I don't know any of that. Whereas in Destiny, like, the Fallen have such deep lore. Like, they used to be Guardians way back. They had the Traveler, and the Traveler left them.
Same as Black Tusk.
Yeah, the Black Tusk. You know, they're this military. You know who the enemies. You can find out lore on them. You understand their motivations and why they conflict with yours. Whereas so far in Anthem, the Dominion, okay, they're the bad guys. Okay, the insects, they're bugs. You go into into their territory, they're gonna come and fuck you up. They're bugs. The skanks, I don't know. I don't feel anything for the enemies. They're just there for me to fucking blow up, which is satisfying. Like I said, killing them is great. It's a lot of fun, but there's no recognition, I suppose is the word. As in, like, why are we fighting each other right now?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just you're shooting at me, so I'm going to shoot you back. So pretty much so far what is being said about it is kind of true. Nap's over.
Oh. Hey, buddy.
Bye.
Where are your pants? I can't have you on camera if you've got no pants on.
You got to go.
You have to go, buddy. Go back to mummy. If you had pants, you could totally hang out. Huh? No, you got no pants on. Can't have you up. That is Daddy's phone. Thank you. Are you going to go put pants on now?
No.
How was your sleep? Be rocking the table. Yeah, it's a yeah. You want to say hello to everybody?
No.
Okay, that's fair. Want to do yeah?
No.
Oh, okay. Can you go to mummy now?
Hello.
Alright, please keep talking about Anthem.
But laughing doesn't help, does
No, it
it?
hurts.
Because he's like, no, but he's like, he thinks it's funny. But you can't not, can you?
No. Alright, keep talking about Anthem.
It's a bar.
Yeah. Alright, I need you to go to mummy. Why do you smell like deep heat? What? Why does he smell like aloe vera or something? He just sprayed laundry stuff in his own face? Everywhere, okay.
Not just in his
Alright,
face.
take that noodles
everywhere.
to mum. Yeah, mum needs noodles. Anyone that's not watching is just listening is going to sound like the weirdest shit.
Mum needs noodles. Where's your pants? Mum needs noodles. Do you want to say yeah?
Why do you smell like DB? Oh, I love my kid, but kids are weird.
Yeah.
It's a tough line. Future parents. Speaking of future parents, before we jump back into the talking about Anthem, big congratulations to our community, one of our community members, Max.
Oh, really?
He's having a bob.
Oh, sick, man.
December, the little one's due, and John O'Peck.
Whoa.
Whoa, not
Whoa.
like it wasn't Max and John O'Peck, like. But no, Jono, and also Ali and Max were expecting in December, as is Jono and Hannah. So big congratulations to both of them. You
Very
know,
nice.
Jono, we have here on here all the time. He's a good kid.
And you're there all
He's
the time.
fantastic to us. And Max, we go way back. So
We go way back.
yeah, big fan of Max.
So yeah, the world itself doesn't feel lived in. It feels very bare, which I think also attributes to there being only maybe 2 biomes. You've either got big grassy place or underground darkness.
Yeah, tunnels.
Yeah, which I feel like also the tunnels kind of go against what the game wants you to do, because you can fly in there. It's quite difficult though. You feel very grounded, whereas the game kind of excels at you fly around and do all this cool stuff. But then it's like you're like, I can't really fly around in here. You know what I mean? In terms of Fort Tarsus, which is the home base, there is nothing worse than loading back into there after doing some stuff and seeing speech bubbles everywhere. It's like, oh no. Because it means people have new dialogue options.
Word.
And there's so many, and it's so frequent that it's
bad?
actually no. Some of it's actually quite good. There are a couple characters there that I really enjoy talking to. Owen, who is my cipher, who basically rides shotgun.
Oh, okay.
Like he does the intel through when you're out in the world. He's like, oh, you gotta do this and that. And you're like,
He's
okay,
your
man.
Jarvis.
Yeah, pretty much. He's your Jarvis. He's a person though.
Yes.
Exactly. Matthias, who is like some scholar trying to decrypt some stuff and that kind of stuff. There's some good characters there, but it's the frequency of the dialogue and the length of the conversations that goes for so long.
Like, apparently these moments are where the bi-awareness really comes in.
It is to an extent, but what I took from BioWare games is pretty much anyone you could have dialogue with had quality dialogue and you enjoyed listening and conversing, whereas it's probably 50-50 here. There are some people who have a speech where I'm like, cool, can't wait to talk to you. You know, I'll be there in a second. Other ones is like, just shut the fuck up. Skip it. Shut the fuck up. Okay. Talking about like their past. It's trying to like world build. You know, this is where I came from. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And it's like, I don't care, man. That's a bit of a drag.
Look, but in true, like, that is very real of a lot of rural conversations.
Yes, it is. Which is why I avoid them a lot. Fort Tarsus is also very bland in the way that there are people everywhere, but there's like no one's talking. And then you walk and like, hey, freelancer. Yeah, hello.
They're all in their own spot until you walk up and they go, hi.
Yeah, but you know how there'll be games where there's like muffled dialogue all around.
It's muffled noise.
And then
yeah.
you'll hear something, a
Like
layer
even
above.
Skyrim has that. Where
Yeah,
you're
but then you'll hear
wandering
something
through.
a layer above that. And it's like, that's directed at me. so I can go talk to this person. You get that, but there's not a lot going on underneath it that makes it feel like these people are actually doing something. Doesn't seem like anyone has their own routes, like they move, they could be here or here, they're the shop vendor, but their house is there, they could be there or there. Just anytime you're in the fort, everyone's in the exact same spot. The kids are playing with the same toy cars, the guard is standing in the same spot with the same dickhead look on his face. Again, if you're not there, the world isn't living. Everyone's just waiting for you to come back.
T-pose, waiting.
Yeah, everyone's just waiting for you to load back in and come back and talk to them, which is a shame because, like I said at the start, there's so much potential there, and these games always have a hub. You got the White House, you got the tower in the Division, and you got Fort Tarsus, which sounds cool. Fort Tarsus, yeah, no, and it's very big, and it would be so much more convenient if everyone you had to talk to were just in a circle room and you could just do a lap. Instead of being like, I gotta go to the bar, talk to this
or
one.
just literally sit down and like they're all sitting there and you like almost like it's AA and you look at them.
Yeah.
Look at them.
Yeah. Or they're just, you sit down at the table and they just line up. It's like, come on, yep, okay, move, next person, But it's such a pain. Of course, you don't have to go around and talk to everyone.
So in terms of talking, do you get benefits like items or
no, you get
missions?
You get rep.
Okay.
So there's 3 factions to get rep with. I don't remember what they all are at the moment. But as you increase your reputation with these factions, you get access to new crafting blueprints and higher level. If they're a vendor, you can get higher level materials from them. So there is benefits to talking to them. Just sometimes it's really fucking boring and drags on a lot. But you should be doing it. And I'm trying to take my time. Like I'm giving them the time of day. I'm not just speed running through everything and saying, oh, the dialogue's really shit. If you haven't listened to it, how do you know? There's no cool characters here. Well, there is. I've found a couple that have really cool stories. So, I'm trying to listen to everything. But as a player, it's almost like a side. You load back in, you see 8 yellow speech bubbles. Like, okay.
How is the loading?
I don't think it's any worse than Destiny.
Okay.
Personally, because I timed it.
Journalism.
So with Destiny, right? The game initially boots up. You sit on the Bungie loading screen for a little while. I'm talking from when you get in the game, right? You get in the game in Destiny. First thing you want to do is go to the tower to pick up what bounties you want from the day. But there are bounties all over the solar system. So you could typically spend 15 minutes in Destiny just getting ready for your play session. I need to see this pun on this planet. I need to go over to this planet, go here to get the bounty from this person. The loading screens, at least on my PS4 Slim for Destiny 2, loading into the tower takes about 95 seconds. A minute and a half. Loading back to Fort Tarsus after an expedition takes about 95 to 100 seconds. It's about the same. The issue comes in for me is the frequency of the loading screens, in the way that you finish a mission, it's like mission ending, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, loading screen, 90 seconds ish, brings you to the mission results screen. It's like, here's all the XP you got for the mission, here's the items you found, where do you want to go? Back to Fort Tarsus, loading screen.
90 seconds.
See what I'm getting at? Yeah. There seems to be one extra loading screen that really kind of kills the flow. If it was mission ends, here's your rewards and your XP, go back to the Fort Tarsus, I'd be totally cool with that. But the fact it has to load the end, because the end screen is animated. So if you're in a squad of 4 people, which I've been doing most of the activities with randos, all around my level, no issues matchmaking, by the way.
Probably because of the numbers that have been selling right now.
But you finish it, and everyone's javelins are there, and they thumbs up. They're like, yeah, woo, and it's all animated, and the XP is like, whoosh, all these emblems are coming up, and all that kind of stuff. It's too much. And I'm sure that's why they have to load it, because they're loading in all this stuff, and everyone's javelins are there, which are all custom, of course, and it's just too much. I'd prefer like an Excel document. Here's your XP, here's the items you got, get the fuck out of here, scam, keep going. You know what I mean? There's just one extra loading screen, which is just obtuse.
It's quite well like how the Division does. Like, you finish your mission, it's like, hey, you want to read the report?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Nah.
You get it in Destiny 2, mission ends, and you get that one screen, damage done, kills for each player. That's it. And your loot pops up on the side of the screen. Whereas in doing this, they've forced to have another loading screen, which I think most people will be like, it was cool the first time I saw it. Just let me have an option just for a quick summary and skip all this business altogether. But in terms of loading from place to place, I don't find it much longer than Destiny 2. Now, both of the games on my PlayStation are installed on an external hard drive, which is not an SSD, and I'm sure that contributes to my longer loading times. 100% it does, because it's loading it from an hard one, yeah. But if they both weren't and both were on the PlayStation, they'd probably be shorter. I'd still say they'd be about the same, though. Yeah. It's just, like I said, Anthem...
They'd be equivalent still.
Yeah, Anthem just seems to have one extra loading screen. What I don't like... I don't mind when you're out in the field, you're on an expedition, you find, common item, uncommon item. You don't know what it is until you go back to the fort.
They did that in Destiny?
Not anymore. When you pick up a purple engram, unless it's a prime engram, which is a very rare specific type, you pick up the purple thing off the ground and it's just like, it's this item. And it's in your inventory right now. I don't like not knowing until you finish, because when you get to the mission screen, it shows you all your loot and it does all that bullshit, yeah? Mm-hmm. But it makes sense as well, because when you're out in the field, you can't change your gear or your abilities either.
Huh?
You can't. But it makes sense, because you go to the forge in Fort Tarsus and, here's my javelin, and it's like, go on an expedition, get ready. Okay, I'm taking this gun, these abilities, and I'm heading out. You know what I mean? Yeah. You don't bring all your guns with you into the field. Now that's... Does that get in the way of gameplay? Maybe, I suppose. But it's like, you select your loadout that you're going to do this play session with. Just this mission or this free play roam. I'm leaving, I'm going to take this and this and this, and I'm out. And then when you find the gear out in the world, I don't like not knowing what it is and not being able to change it in the world. It's like, I find if I'm using a green gun and I find a blue item, why wouldn't I know if it's a gun? And if I found it out in the world, why wouldn't I be able to put it on?
Do you have an inventory max?
Yes, 250 items.
Okay.
Which seems pretty generous.
But
I'm only 8 hours in.
Have you, when you do a mission, do you pick up 20 things?
No, I think most of it maybe 10.
Okay.
But I'm only doing early game stuff.
So the reason I asked that was although it's like, hey, here's some red, here's some blue shit. Like, if you had a large storage space, because as an example, you're playing Destiny, I play Division, right? You keep using it as a point of example. I'm not going to pick up guns that are lesser than the one I have.
That's where it comes in, though. You look at what abilities those guns have, and do you want that ability possibly later on another weapon?
Okay, so no, I meant when I first started.
Oh.
Now,
if you're not going to use it, you don't pick it up.
Now in the end game, it's probably different. But back then, it was like, oh, that's less than what I got. I don't need it.
No, so on your loot screen at the end, it shows you everything you got, and it's like, well, I don't need any of this stuff. You can salvage it then and there for crafting components to craft other stuff. So yeah, it seems pretty generous, the amount of inventory space at the moment. The guns are shit. They're just bare-boned guns. There's nothing fancy about them. There's nothing cool. It's just, this is an assault rifle. This is a sniper rifle. I think there's 2 or 3 different kinds of them, but they're all the same. Where to Destiny, you get guns that shoot fucking energy beams. You get guns that shoot fire and void, and you get guns that do chain lightning bullets. And that's the sci-fi part of it, is that you can do whatever you want with a bit of creativity, where Anthem just doesn't have it. The guns are the guns, and that's it. They might give you extra, wearing this gun gives you an extra 5% ultimate recharge, and this is boring. These are boring to shoot, especially with my abilities. I'm calling lightning and ice storms out of the sky and flamethrowers and stuff, and then I'm going, it doesn't flow. The guns aren't good. They are uninspired and they are boring. which is why I play the Interceptor, because all the abilities are back so fast, and he's the melee king. I don't even worry about my guns. Just fucking chop shit up.
So, yeah, in terms of the 4 javelin types,
Yes.
what ones have you dealt with?
I started with the Ranger, who's like the middle of the ground, good for beginners, does good single target damage. And at level 8, you get to choose another one. I chose the Interceptor, who is the melee folk, really agile, speedy one.
So you haven't got the Hulkbuster yet?
No, I think at level... Well, you get to choose what you unlock. At level 8, you get to pick another one. And then I think at level 12, you get to pick another one. And maybe 20, you get to pick your last one. But you pick the order that you get them.
Oh, okay.
So it's not set in that way. But I did play the 2. I haven't got what I played in the beta.
All right, nice.
So you know what
nice.
I mean? Look, so far, all the flaws aside, as in why am I doing what I'm doing, and the world is pretty dead, as in it doesn't feel like a living world. It's so much fun just flying around and blowing shit up. It's beautiful. The controls are very intuitive and very, very good. But where the real thing's going to come in, I think, is the end game. And I think that's what a lot of people are really...
And that's where it'll crumble, you think?
That's where it'll... I guarantee it.
Yeah.
At this point, I can already see it. Because there's 3... They call them strongholds.
I'm interested again.
There's 3. One of them is just a recycled story mission that you can match make. And then there's 2 more. So it's going to be, and without raids or anything, it's going to be, well, why am I trying to get all the powerful gear? What's the point? Destiny is, I want to raid, I want to do better in PvP, like I need better gear. That's the push. Division has the raids now, it has the Dark Zone, and the non-normalized Dark Zone, where it is your gear matters in terms of level. Like, I want the better stuff. Whereas with Anthem, without raids or PvP, like, well, why am I doing this? I think that's going to be my mindset later, but we'll have to wait and see. So far, I don't think it's as bad as they say.
Okay, so yeah,
in terms of just playing at maybe some max level.
Yeah, worth the $19 at this point.
I've already got my money's worth for $19.
Yeah,
I think if I never touch it again, I'll be like, yeah, it's fun. I got 8 hours.
Yeah,
I spend 60 and get an hour out of some games. Sekiro.
That's true.
But going forward from here, it's not going to be like a main topic discussion of my time with
Probably
Anthem.
mildly at the start with the what have you been playing?
Yeah, it's just at the start, how it's going. But like initial impressions, I don't think it's as bad as everyone says, but I can see why the people who were hyped and pre-ordered are upset with their purchase.
So do you think part of this is hype? A hype-based issue?
Oh, absolutely. It always is with these games, yeah. 100%. But, and a lot of people now say you could tell before it came out, and it's like, you couldn't. Shut the fuck up. In hindsight, yeah, sure. But the people saying, I knew a month before this game was going to be trash. No, you didn't. Shut up.
No, you didn't. I'm pretty
But
sure.
now all of a sudden...
if we search your handle here on Reddit,
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll find you being like, it's going to be the
I
best.
can't wait to play this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now all of a sudden, everyone knew it was going to be bad before it came out. No, you didn't.
No. We were hyped. We were pretty keen on it.
I was.
And then we played the beta. Didn't interest us. We bounced out.
I can certainly understand why people are upset with their purchase, 100%. But buying in for $19 and not really having that super high expectation, because I think the internet brought my expectations so low that, to me, anything is good at the moment, because my expectations were just to play garbage. And it's not. The fundamentals are there. And it's enjoyable.
So I did something recently with my expectation. Oh, yeah. Wrestling. Stomping Grounds. Pay-per-view was, on paper, anus. Pretty good. Because my expectations were so low. I think expectations play a massive role.
Yeah, especially mine was Sinking City, which is apparently hot trash.
Oh, really? Oh. Apparently it's just because it's not the game that everyone wanted.
Yeah,
but
and I'm thinking, am I in that camp, or it's not the game I wanted?
It's a very investigative game.
No, that's okay. I don't know.
Because I think people wanted like something different, but it's like it's very There was some Sherlock games, like murder mystery games back in early PS4 days, and it's very similar to that. Because like I spoke to a good friend Zach from Well Played about it, who appears in the game. Like,
Does he really?
Yeah. Well, if you talk to one of the if you look at one of the tombstones on the graves, it says Zach Jackson, quote, "Don't you tempt me with a dead time," quote.
Cool.
Yeah, so he's in the game, so of course you'll take his bias, any grain of salt or whatever.
Yeah.
But he reviewed it reasonably well. I think it was like a 7 or 8 or something for him. So,
but anyway, Anthem. If you buy it for $19, I think you will get your money's worth so far.
So let us know what your thoughts on Anthem are in those comments below, or the Facebook group, or in the Discord. As I said, all the links are in the description. So I'm looking forward to see what we get out of you on the week to week.
It'll definitely won't be that long of a talk.
No, it won't.
Probably too long. You like? Do you have enough for a topic to? What was that like? 40 minutes.
We're fine.
It's all good.
So look, Anthem came out. It's been done. It's old. Let's get into new games. In the section we call "Coming to the Players," we tell you what PlayStation games are coming this week.
New PlayStation games for July 2nd, 2019, As Divine Dios, PS4, PS Vita Digital Cross-Buy, Brain Breaker, PS4 Digital, Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, PS4 Digital and Retail. I guess it's a new expansion for that.
Yes.
Ovivo, PS4 Digital, Paradox Soul, PS4, PS Vita Digital Cross-Buy, Scraper, First Strike, PSVR Digital, Sea of Solitude, PS4 Digital.
I remember hearing good news about that one.
When humans get too lonely, they turn into monsters. Set sail across beautiful and evolving world of darkness and light, and discover what it means to be human. Embark on a nuanced and intimate action adventure where players must guide Kay through her sea of solitude in this touching tale of darkness and light.
This was on the first State of Play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it does look good. I don't know how much it's going to be. But it looks like a very, I'm going to say, emotional and sad story. Stranger Things 3, the game. PS4 Digital.
Haven't seen Stranger Things Season 2 or finished Season 1.
Oh, that makes you an outlier in the current world. I'm not going to read it because I don't care. I mean, the show's good. I don't care. Tour de France, Season 2019.
Oh, shit.
Definitely going to read this one. Will, A Wonderful World, PS4 Digital Retail. That's it. So, Sea of Solitude is probably
the one to check out. It's a pretty quiet week. Yeah.
Good.
If you got VR, go check out Vacation Simulator.
Play more Anthem.
Play some Division. Come help me get the plat. You
talking to Paul?
Random person or Paul. Hey Paul, come get the plat. Because like the thing is, I was listening to Platinum Explosion this week. And, our friends over the Explosion Network, their PlayStation show, and they had big old Buddy Watson on there to talk about
big old Buddy B.
The big old Bud Dog, who I constantly, for the longest time, incorrectly called him the Cruiserweight Champion. That's Buddy Murphy. But I always called Buddy Murphy Buddy Watson. So for a long stretch of time, when Young and the Wrestlers, he was in fact the Cruiserweight Champion. So he talked about how he got the play like a couple months back. And because he messaged me on Twitter when I was like, "Oh man, this game's great," and he's like, "Dude, we fucking ground this shit out like 3 months ago. Was Dash, myself, and Dylan? Like we could have made where were you? Like, I didn't know then. I didn't know.
I don't know what my achievements are like for that.
Yeah, because you played on Xbox, didn't you?
Sure did.
Oh, but before we jump into the final wrap up, just putting it out there. If you're a regular listener of this show and you like the shit that I have to say, I appeared on 2 different podcasts this week.
Whoa!
I appeared on Jono Peck's Putting in Work, talking about what we do here and sort of how our focus has changed in terms of how we make content here and how we aren't as gung-ho as we once were, and there's the reasons behind that. And the second one was Simon Blackburn's Take My Tone, which the idea is 2 people come into a show with songs, and we sort of, you says you need to listen to the song, and here's why. His was, because we did a Guilty Pleasures episode, his was All Saints Pure Shores, and mine was Hanson's This Time Around. But now in hindsight, because that song is brilliant, I kind of wish I went with Blue Cantrell or something, super guilty, but That's good. So they're available on the iTunes now, and I'm also guesting on Dane Pevy's Pushing Through Blue podcast, which is about sort of like mental health and those sort of things, because obviously that's where I work, and I'm broken in the head. So
yours is poor.
Yeah,
So who better to talk to?
look, mine's dumpster, and I work in it. So
Yeah, mine's dumpster.
Tick, tick.
I'm still trying to help people though.
Yeah.
That says something.
yeah, it totally does. But yeah, so if you enjoyed what you listened to here, go check those out. Give them a shout.
Look at you podcast slut.
Yeah, dude, I hoard myself out so hard this week, so hard. So that's
No wonder you're
so.
sick.
No, yeah, probably.
So many dicks in your mouth.
Oh, so many dicks. So that's four episodes this week alone, plus this. So next week then it'll be 4 players again, Young and the Wrestlers again, and then Pushing Through Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Good old fucking like 8 episodes in 2 weeks. I think including 2 streams, make that fucking 10.
Content king.
Doosh.
That PlayStation conversation happened on a Monday morning at 9 a.m. Australian Standard Time on YouTube and 8 a.m. on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast services. If you'd like to be a part of future conversations, please join us on Facebook, Discord, comment below. If you're feeling generous, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/thepopculturists. Head over there, check out the tiers. There might be something there that interests you.
If you support us on Patreon, you can watch us record this show live at any dollar value. Get yourself a nice little sneaky unlisted link, and you can come watch us record the show on either a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon. Pretty much where it's at this point. If you want to support us in more direct fashion and once-off fashion, you can head over to popculturists.com/shop. We can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. We are also on Twitch at twitch.tv/thepopculturists, where, as I said, this week doing some more VR stuff. Max was on, because Max is my resident VR guy, because he comes in, he plays so much VR that he's my little mini expert, and he's fun to hang out with. So I'll see if I can swing him in, so we can come and play some Frenchly Five Nights at Freddy's or Trover Saves the Universe. Once again, thank you, PlayStation Australia. And if you want to hear some more, as I said, apart from those pods we listed before, go check out the Young and the Wrestlers, the PopCulturists WWE podcast with myself and Jem, the official 4th face of the PopCulturists. We really need to do a photo shoot so I can put her in
We've been
pictures.
saying that for a long time.
Yeah, we're always so busy though. We never managed to put it together.
Yeah.
What I can do, because the joys of Photoshop, I can just make a picture of all together. If I can just allocate some time for each person, we'll make it work, I think.
Let's get one of her pictures from Facebook. Just whoop.
It's just like differently lit.
Yeah.
Only hurt this part.
Yeah.
Like we're all full people and it's just her face.
Yeah.
I like it. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Josh Saunders.
And that was For the Players.
I've been waiting so long to pee.
For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation podcast is fan-supported at patreon.com/thepopculturists. And we'd like to thank our Patreon producers and our Patreon founders for their kindness, their support, and their generosity. Our Patreon founders: Alpha Ferret, Craig O'Flaherty, David Chataway, Jesse Stevenson, and Jacob Garner. And our Patreon producers: Damien Holdies, Hakim NPC, Lee Wintershoven, Paul James, Pure Mongrel, and Sean Levitt.